Jasion EB5, best-selling bike on eBay when I bought it. We're gonna hit the roads here real quick and then do some off-road stuff. Pay attention to that on screen because I'll put some stats on the screen about what this has included. Let's hit the roads. All right, so I'm a few miles into my first ever ride on the Jasion EB5 bike here, and in a world where there are so many e-bikes, so many different styles, so many different power levels, where you can easily be overwhelmed if you're new to this and not quite sure what you want, this one is extremely easy to describe. It is the mountain bike you rode when you were a kid. If you remember those days, jumping on your favorite 26-inch mountain bike and just riding all over the place, it feels just like that. It has tires like that. The bike itself is built like that. The brakes, the gearing, everything is like that, just with some e-bike stuff added on. It's a little bit heavier because it does have the battery, but really it's not that much heavier, especially compared to a lot of other e-bikes I've tested. It's very manageable from a weight perspective. But let's just talk about the power and the throttle only. If I'm not pedaling, what do you get out of this bike? Well, it's a 350 watt motor, which compared to a lot out there is not all that powerful. I don't know what the torque is, but I can tell you it's not super high. This is a slower, lower powered e-bike, which depending on what you want may be perfect for you. If you want more power, this is probably not going to be the option. With that, if I mash the throttle, slow, does not feel like it's going to throw me off, doesn't feel intimidating. If you're nervous about an e-bike just feeling like too much, it's not that. It's a very slow acceleration. From a stop, it's the same thing. I'll show it on screen, but it's a slow acceleration. Top speed will get to about 19.5 to 20, maybe 20.5 if you're on a slight decline or a very smooth road. I've seen that's about where it can average. If you run to hills, it will lose power. It doesn't have enough power in that motor to really just power through and maintain its speed. You're going to lose some speed. You know, I've been experiencing on modest hills losing like 3 to 4 miles per hour. I ended up at like 16 miles per hour. Steeper ones are worse, and that power level could be a very good thing or a bad thing. If you want more speed, if you want to be just using that throttle a whole lot, you want to be flying around, well, this might not be the e-bike for you. It is going to be able to get up and do 20 miles per hour, which isn't terrible depending on what you want. But what I can say is a big positive if you're going to ride it this way. A lot of e-bikes, they have so much of the fanciness with large batteries and big motors and throttle response that you get it thinking you're going to ride it like a bike, but before you know it, you're always just using this throttle, and then the bike and the e-bike part do all the work. You're not pedaling, you're not riding that bike, you're not getting any exercise. This bike, it almost begs you to pedal with it. The pedal assist has 3 levels, 1, 2, and 3. That'll support you at different capacities, but it works with you really well, which is a big positive because some e-bikes, they go so fast, they have so much power that they just go right through it. You start pedaling, they accelerate faster, and you're gonna pedal, and then before you know it, you're doing what's called ghost pedaling, which is where you pedal, but there's no resistance there. It's going too fast for the gearing, and you just kind of flip your legs real quick. You realize there's nothing there to resist you, and you realize it's pointless to pedal. But with this, you can work through these gears and how it matches up with the pedal assist, and you can ride with it. So if you want a bike where you pedal with it, this is a great match. So now you know what you're getting from a power level and overall capabilities, but what else does it have on the road side? Well, it does have suspension. It's an on or off. You flip this down here, see if I can show you this. On or off, you can turn this, suspension will work. Oh, how about I turn it the right way? There you go. And then you can lock it back. On top of the suspension, you have this quarter twist throttle. Seems to work really easy, much like any other e-bike. Twist it to where you want it, clamp your hand down, and that's kind of the power level you're gonna get. 7-speed Shimano shifter, just like all the others use. Upshift, downshift, works great. Controller here, much like I've seen on many others, it works fine, does the job. And then it does have headlights with a button, which I love. I don't like hitting sequences when you're trying to drive one hand and hitting 2 buttons. Never great, just hit a button, you got your headlight on or off if you want it, and then the horn. So all that seems to be great. It has some basic features there which work well. I like that, makes it roadworthy and make you feel like, if you need those lights or that horn, they're easily accessible. Something else I want to show you is the braking, so I'm going to get to top speed and hit those brakes. All right, brake smash. So I haven't loved the braking so far. It's soft, and that what you just saw was me absolutely just smashing both these as hard as I can. What I will say is it does the job. It gets you stopped. It wasn't really that bad. I've got spoiled by some nicer braking systems on other bikes, which are so responsive, and when you hit them, it starts stopping so hard. This does the job It's not high end, but again, a $300 bike, it's really not that bad for that price point. As I head to my off-roading test, something I forgot to mention is the tail light. It's a standalone piece that you just put around the post. And there's a button you can push to turn it on so people can see you, and I think it has a few different modes. At first, I really didn't like it because it's not tied to the power system. You're gonna have to charge the batteries, and it's just a button you have to click. You know, it's not integrated, but it works really, really well. And if that's one of those things that allows them to reduce the cost and, you know, make it more affordable and keep it at a $300 price point, and it still works that well, hey, not that big of a problem. I am pedaling going up this hill. It was not gonna make it, so that's something worth pointing out. You know, a really steep hill, it needs a little assist. It's not made to have the power to get over that itself. All right, second attempt at doing the off-road portion here, because as soon as I said I was going to, the skies opened up and said, you will not be riding out in these fields today. So here we are again. And you know, as I've been testing, I've been riding a little bit here, this bike is doing more than I thought it would. I thought for sure once we got in thick stuff or, you know, a little bit of inclines out here, throttle only was never gonna get the job done. You were gonna be pedaling like crazy. And right now you can see I'm throttle only. This grass is tall and thick. It's dragging on these tires and it's making it through. It doesn't have tons of power. It doesn't feel like it has tons of speed. You're never gonna get going crazy fast, but it does do it. Now, that being said, we're talking about flat road conditions. As soon as the conditions get thicker or muddier or the inclines get tougher, you're not gonna make it. You're gonna get stuck and you're gonna have to pedal. And that might sound like a bad thing, but like I said in the road section, I'm okay with that. It gives you a different experience. I'm kind of finding myself enjoying this way more than I thought I would, because with other e-bikes, they have so much power and so much range, and the bike just does so much that you find yourself just letting the bike do all the work. You don't actually pedal, you don't get any exercise, you're away from the actual bike experience. And this gets you back into that let's work together. Let's pedal, at times I can do throttle only when I need a break or I just want to cruise, but at times you're gonna pedal. This is a work together bike and it's kind of fun. It brings you back to why you ride a bike. So again, it's really gonna depend on what you get a bike for. You know, how do you want to use it? But it does the job. Now, a lot of bikes I've tested have those big old fat tires, really mucky right here. We'll see if I get through this. Yep, it got through. I was just about to talk about fat tires. They will get through stuff like that a lot easier. They're wide, they can just sit on top of stuff. And this has skinnier, more mountain tire style tires, but I am going through some incredibly nasty stuff there, and it's doing it. But this bike is getting a lot of things done, and I am thoroughly enjoying the whole work together. And I guess I'll wrap this up by saying, at a bike that is around $300, I expected this to be so cheap. I expected things to feel like they were gonna break. It's just not a lot of money. How do you have an e-bike and a full bike and all that put together and all the functionality you get out of this at $300 and not have it just be something that's ready to break down immediately? And it is impressing me. There's nothing that seems like it's about to break. It has great cable management. You know, the brakes get the job done. They're not fantastic, but at $300, they're great. It has enough power to support you. The frame itself feels strong. Nothing on this has felt like it's gonna break or if I had to fix it. For $300, very impressive for what you get out of a bike at that price point. So if you're a person that wants to get into the e-bike world, but you don't want to spend a lot of money and you still want to use it as a bike, the e-bike part is just there to help you out and, you know, enjoy that experience sometimes, this could be a great match. So I hope you found this video helpful. I'm gonna summarize this by saying, if you're looking for a bike that's not intimidating or a good starter bike, something that's just easy to get into, not overwhelming, is gonna have e-bike functionality, but not too much, but still has a lot without breaking the bank, this is a fantastic option. I was pleasantly surprised. So if you're thinking about it, I do have a link in the description, helps the channel. Please consider using that. Like, subscribe, you know the deal. But until next time, have a great one.